Alright, I gotta be real with you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is one of the most underrated series in the entire franchise, and that's saying something considering how much Yu-Gi-Oh! Content is out there. A lot of people tend to write it off just because Yuma isn't Yu-Gi, but honestly, this series has one of the best character arcs I've ever seen in a card game anime. So today, we're doing what no one's ever really done properly around here. We're breaking down the complete story of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, from the very first episode all the way to that emotional finale that hit everyone right in the feels. We're talking Yuma, Astral, the numbers, Baryon World, and how all of it ties together in ways you might have missed the first time around. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, grab a snack, and come along with me, cause this journey is gonna be epic. Let's go! In a dream, a colossal door promises Yuma Tsukumo a power that could change everything, but not without a warning. The risk could cost him everything. He wakes up late, plunging headfirst into his chaotic morning routine alongside his reporter sister Kaori and their quirky grandmother. At school, Yuma's energy is a force of nature, even if he fails at every challenge he sets for himself. His motto is simple: feel the flow and make the impossible happen. To help him do that, he carries a golden key, a gift from his missing parents. To Yuma, it's the key to unlocking his true potential. What he doesn't know is that this key is about to open a door that will change the universe forever. During class, tensions explode. The school bully, Shark, humiliates Yuma's friend Bronk by crushing him in a duel and stealing his deck with a powerful Exis summon. Without hesitation, Yuma steps in to challenge him. The stakes? Bronk's deck against Yuma's golden key. In an act of sheer cruelty, Shark grabs the key and smashes it on the ground, shattering Yuma's spirit along with it. Crushed and unsure of himself, Yuma's ready to give up. But the humiliation lights a fire inside him. Now, it's not just about Bronk's deck, it's about standing up to Shark and proving himself. With the broken key in hand, retrieved by Tori, Yuma steels himself for the duel that could define his destiny. On the day of the duel, Yuma's confidence returns, but Shark quickly reminds everyone why he's a nationally ranked duelist. With a brutal combo, he drastically lowers Yuma's life points, leaving him on the verge of collapse. When Yuma tries to fight back, a trap card leaves him one move from defeat. Shark prepares to finish the duel with the same Exis summon he used against Bronk, ready to humiliate Yuma in front of everyone. But at the breaking point, Yuma's determination reignites the key. It magically reconstructs itself. The dream door appears once more, and this time, Yuma unlocks it. On the other side, a dark energy envelops Shark, triggering something terrifying.
Yes, Shark. Let the number take hold.
The summon of number 17, Leviathan Dragon. The monster strikes, and as Yuma falls, a ghostly figure appears, commanding him to rise. The real game has just begun.
Rise up. Oh, who are you?
As Yuma lies on the ground, the mysterious figure introduces himself as Astral, a being from another world who suffers from amnesia and can only be seen by Yuma. His friends think he's lost his mind, but Astral tries to guide him. The problem? Yuma, as stubborn as ever, refuses to listen. The duel resumes with a terrifying new rule. A number monster can only be destroyed by another number. Shark's Leviathan Dragon seems unstoppable. The pressure mounts when Astral reveals the truth. The numbers are fragments of his memory, and his existence depends on Yuma's victory. If Yuma loses, Astral will disappear. Driven by desperation, Yuma finally places his trust in his new partner. Following Astral's guidance, he plays Monster Reborn, and, using 2 level 4 monsters, unlocks a new power. A card materializes, number 39, Utopia. With his very first Exis summon, Yuma brings out his ace.
Rise on up, number 39, Utopia!
Now, the real battle begins. Utopia destroys one of Shark's monsters, but Leviathan Dragon is still a major threat. Shark strikes back. Yuma blocks the first attack, but it leaves him wide open. Instead of using Utopia's effect again, a trap card saves him at the last second, leaving him with just 100 life points. Shark sets up for the final blow. It looks like the end, but Yuma has one last trick. He commands a suicidal attack from Utopia against Leviathan Dragon, then uses its final overlay unit to negate its own attack. This wild move activates the spell card Double or Nothing, doubling Utopia's power to 5,000. With one crushing blow, Yuma wins. Freed from the number's influence, Shark honors their deal. Astral absorbs number 17, regains a fragment of his memory, and seals a partnership that will change the fate of two worlds. Yuma's recent winning streak is starting to raise suspicion. His friends begin to question whether he relies too much on his number cards. Determined to prove his worth, Yuma makes a bold promise to defeat Shark without using a single number card. He finds his former rival in a desolate, abandoned area, now the hideout of a violent gang. But Shark, still shaken by his last defeat, has given up dueling. Refusing to give up on him, Yuma challenges Shark, wagering his Emperor's Key on the duel. The duel begins, and Shark quickly takes control of the field. Backed into a corner, Yuma is tempted to break his promise and summon Utopia, but in a surprising twist, Shark urges him to do it. His true goal all along was to prove he could defeat a number monster. Realizing that the duel is no longer just about pride, but about saving a friend, Yuma calls forth number 39, Utopia. However, Shark is one step ahead. With his monster Black Ray Lancer, which negates the effects of a number, he crushes Utopia and claims a decisive victory. Shark leaves the Emperor's Key with Yuma, a bitter reminder of his loss, and walks away, leaving Yuma devastated. But this defeat is only the beginning. Shark's new family has sinister plans of their own. Yuma's crushing defeat at the hands of Shark shakes his confidence to the core. Disappointed by his broken promise, his friends begin to drift away. Meanwhile, Shark's new crew, led by Scorch and Chills, starts to show their true colors. They each possess a number card of their own and plan to use Shark to steal a rare deck from the museum, setting him up to take the fall. Haunted by guilt and warned about the trap, Yuma races to save his rival. He intercepts the gang at the museum and challenges their leaders to a duel. When Shark arrives, he's double-crossed by the very allies he thought he could trust. In a shocking twist, he joins forces with Yuma, turning the confrontation into a tag team battle. Scorch and Chills fight in perfect sync, ultimately summoning their ace monster, number 61, Volcasaurus. With its devastating ability, they wipe out Yuma and Shark's monsters, pushing the unlikely duo to the brink of defeat. Can two rivals truly come together to overcome such a calculated betrayal? Still reeling from Volcasaurus's devastating attack, Yuma and Shark are hanging by a thread. Yuma manages to summon Utopia, but it's immediately caught in a trap. Even in the face of danger, Yuma repeatedly uses Utopia's defensive ability to shield Shark, reinforcing their fragile alliance. Watching their opponent's flawless combos, Shark recognizes a familiar pattern from his past and calls them out as cheaters. His accusation triggers a painful flashback. During the national finals, overwhelmed by fear, Shark peeked at his opponent's deck. Yuma stands up for him, declaring they'll fight with honor. Inspired, Shark turns the tables and destroys Volcasaurus, but the cheaters survive thanks to a string of traps. In the final turn, guided by Shark's trust, Yuma plays Monster Reborn to bring back Black Ray Lancer. Then, he activates a card Shark gave him, Armored Exis, equipping Shark's monster with his own Utopia. The fusion gives rise to a new monster with the power of a number. One strong enough to shatter the remaining defenses and secure victory.
Go, Shimmering Spear Slash!
A newfound respect blossoms between the two rivals, but a greater threat is lurking in the shadows, one that hunts numbers with a cruelty the world has never seen. A brief moment of peace is shattered when a criminal wielding a number card takes hostages at a shopping mall. Before the police can respond, time suddenly freezes. A mysterious figure appears, Kite, a number hunter. With terrifying speed, he defeats the criminal and using a strange piece of technology, extracts not only the number card,
To take my prize!
but part of the man's soul, leaving him aged and catatonic. Far from the scene, Kite's true motivation is revealed. He hunts numbers to heal his younger brother Heart, under the orders of the sinister Dr. Faker and Mr. Heartland. Guided by Astral, Yuma senses that a new player has entered the game. But before he can react, Kite finds him. The number hunter activates a dual field, trapping Yuma, freezing time, and forcing him into a showdown. Using his photon technology, Kite transforms and begins the duel. On his very first turn, he summons two number monsters at once, number 10, Illuminite, and number 20, Giga Brilliant. Kite's power is overwhelming, and Yuma is about to learn the true cost of possessing a number card. Despite Kite's overwhelming power, Yuma doesn't back down and manages to summon Utopia, but Kite responds in kind, with the terrifying Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The dragon's ability is fearsome. It banishes both itself and its opponent during battle, and when it returns, it absorbs Utopia's overlay units, becoming exponentially stronger. Kite Kite then reveals the true stakes of their duel. His hunting method extracts the duelist's soul along with the number. In a desperate final move, Yuma summons Leviathan Dragon, but Kite anticipates every step and shuts down his strategy completely. Just as he's about to land the blow that would cost Yuma his soul, Kite receives an urgent message about his brother. He abruptly ends the duel and vanishes, leaving Yuma behind. Not relieved, but crushed by the weight of his own weakness. He survived by sheer luck, but one question remains. What will happen when they face each other again? Astral's fear proves to be well-founded. A new hunter, Fortuno, defeats a duelist and hands over the number card to his master, Kite. Meanwhile, Yuma's friends discover that duelists who once held number cards are being found in a catatonic state. Concerned, they confront Yuma, who dodges their questions in an attempt to protect them, but his evasiveness only pushes them to take action, forming the secret number card investigation club. Their investigation leads them straight to Fortuno's mansion. A fortune teller working under Kite, Fortuno lures them into a trap. Possessing Kat's body, he delivers an ultimatum to Yuma, a duel to save his friends, with Kite supposedly watching. Astral, foreseeing a devastating outcome, warns Yuma that it's a setup, but Yuma, unwilling to back down, rushes in to rescue his friends. The duel begins under dire conditions. His friend's safety is linked directly to his life points, and the platform they're standing on collapses with every hit he takes. Fortuno summons number 16, Shockmaster, and enforces a rule banning trap cards, leaving Yuma wide open. The trap is sprung, and the first wrong move could be his last. Cornered and paralyzed by fear, Yuma pulls off the impossible. He summons Utopia and destroys Shockmaster, but the upper hand doesn't last. Fortuno reveals another number card, Big Eye, and seizes control of Utopia, leaving Yuma completely exposed. Fortuno gives him a choice: surrender to save his friends. Even Astral agrees, but Yuma refuses to abandon anyone. That unshakable resolve breaks the fear's hold over him. Yuma exposes Fortuno's bluff, revealing the Kite in the audience was just a lifeless puppet. Inspired, Astral evolves. Together they unlock a new power, Chaos X's Evolution. Yuma regains Utopia and transforms him into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray. With a single strike, he wins the duel and saves his friends. But the celebration is short-lived. The real Kite appears, takes Fortuno's last card, and mercilessly, his soul. Yuma's victory only proves how dangerous this new enemy truly is. After a string of victories, Yuma's ego swells to dangerous levels. He comes into possession of number 96, Dark Mist, and during an argument with Bronk, claims he no longer needs anyone's help to win. Seizing on this arrogance, number 96 breaks free, takes control of Astral, and forces Yuma's body to duel against his own friend, who arrived to rescue him. Trapped inside the creature, Astral manages to relay a plan to Yuma. Pretending to betray Bronk, Yuma deceives number 96, who falls into the trap and destroys the wrong card. With the path clear, Bronk uses Utopia, which Yuma had given him before the duel, to defeat Dark Mist and free Astral. Their friendship is restored in the only way they know how, with yet another argument. But the release of number 96 has planted a seed of darkness, one that is yet to bloom. Far away, Kite faces a dilemma. His younger brother, Hart, believes his powers are the key to saving the world, a belief manipulated by Dr. Faker and Mr. Heartland. Under pressure, Kite agrees to continue his hunt for the numbers. He commands his robot, Orbital 7, to locate the source of the numbers on Earth. The analysis leads directly to Yuma's pendant. At school, Orbital 7, disguised, steals the Emperor's key. Shark witnesses the theft and confronts the robot, but his intervention draws Kite's attention, who challenges him to a duel. Kite tricks Shark into taking control of number 30, Acid Golem of Destruction, a monster with a devastating drawback. Without overlay units, the golem can't attack and inflicts massive damage on its own controller. With his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, Kite destroys the golem and its destruction effect defeats Shark. Just as Yuma arrives, he sees Kite take his key and fly off, leaving his rival unconscious. The hunt has now become personal.
Kite, come back here!
The theft of the Emperor's key was never just about power, it was about knowledge. In his lab, Kite discovers the key is an interdimensional portal. Determined to unravel Dr. Faker's secrets, he uses the energy of a rare baryon crystal to activate it, opening a gateway to the astral world. Without hesitation, Kite steps through. Meanwhile, a desperate Yuma and his friends recruit Flip, Using a computer virus, they track Kite to one of Mr. Heartland's warehouses. Inside the Keys dimension, the battle begins. Kite versus Astral. Kite attacks relentlessly, bypassing all of Astral's defenses and mocking his caution. Outside, Yuma breaks into the facility. In the duel, Astral is on the verge of defeat, but remembering Yuma's fighting spirit, he finds new resolve. The tables are about to turn. Inspired by Yuma, Astral summons Utopia, but Kite counters with his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, banishing it, attacking directly, and stealing its overlay units. Meanwhile, Yuma finds a door made of energy. A mysterious voice offers him the power of Zexal, the strength to change fate, but the price is sacrificing what is most important to him. In the duel, Astral evolves his monster into Utopia Ray, but it's still not enough. Sensing his partner's struggle, Yuma rushes through the door without a second thought. In that instant, their souls merge. The power of Zexal is unleashed. Now a single being, they perform a shining draw, creating the Zexal weapon, Unicornosphere. Equipped to Utopia Ray, it overpowers Kite's dragon. The final attack is launched, but Kite activates a final trap, and the duel ends in a draw. With no winner, Kite cannot claim the numbers. He reveals his hunt is to save his brother, and, in an unexpected gesture, returns Shark's soul before departing. The confrontation isn't over, only postponed.
Finally awake, huh?
The World Duel Carnival is about to begin, but Yuma has a problem. He forgot to register. While his friends celebrate their heart pieces, the items needed for entry, he's officially out. Meanwhile, a mysterious duelist named Quattro confronts Shark, revealing he set him up in the past. Driven by revenge, Shark decides to enter the tournament. Desperate, Yuma begs for a chance at Heartland Tower. Behind the scenes, Kite, also in the tournament, convinces Mr. Heartland to allow Yuma's entry, seeing him as valuable bait. The tournament begins. The rule is simple. Collect 5 heart pieces in duels across the city to qualify. The competition has barely started when Yuma is immediately challenged by Striker. The hunt has begun, and everyone is both predator and prey. As Yuma celebrates a victory, more sinister players enter the field. The number hunter Quattro clashes with his brothers, Quentin and Trey. They answer to Vetrix, a masked figure plotting against Dr. Faker. Vetrix gives Trey a number card with a mission: confront Shark, who is seeking revenge against Quattro. On the second day, a confident Yuma follows his friends Bronk and Caswell, who are about to duel their hero, Quattro himself. The sadistic duelist proposes a 3-on-1 battle royale on a field that prevents non-Exis monsters from attacking. Bronk and Caswell summon their monsters, believing they have the advantage, but it was a trap. Quattro reveals his ace, number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, destroys their monsters and humiliates them, savoring their suffering. Horrified, Yuma challenges him, but before the duel can begin, Shark appears. His hunt for Quattro is finally over. The stage is set for an explosive showdown. Shark finally corners Quattro, but his brother Trey intervenes. Since Shark doesn't possess a number card, the duel would be a waste of time. Trey takes his brother's place, trapping Shark in a submerged dueling field. He summons Chronological Mayan Machine, which is immune to level 4 or lower monsters. Shark bypasses the restriction and summons Black Ray Lancer. Trey reveals his true power, summoning number 32, Shark Drake. The creature destroys Shark's monster, revives it with less power, and attacks it again, dealing devastating damage. Trey's strategy was to let Shark take control of Shark Drake, so the number's power would corrupt him. But with sheer force of will, Shark overcomes the dark power and turns the tables. Trey defends himself, but Shark anticipates every move and wins. Trey vanishes, leaving the number with Shark as a souvenir. Far away, Vetrix reveals his true plan. A seed of darkness has been planted in Shark's soul, destined to grow and consume him. Vetrix's game has only just begun. Tournament officials Nistro and Dextra are on the hunt for cheaters. Flip Turner, trying to qualify, is caught selling fake heart pieces. Just as they are about to ban him, Yuma intervenes, challenging the pair to a duel. If he loses, he'll be banned forever too. Little does he know that in another dimension, Astral is trapped by a dark entity, number 96, who claims its true purpose is destruction. The duel begins, and without Astral, Yuma is lost. Dextra and Nistro Quattro attack him relentlessly, destroying his monsters and forcing him to discard his entire hand. With an empty field and no options left, Yuma faces Nistro's final blow, completely defenseless. Could this be the end of his journey as a duelist? At the last second, Yuma activates the ability of Tasuke Knight from his graveyard, saving himself from defeat. Meanwhile, in a desperate act, Astral sends Utopia through the void to help Yuma, breaking free from number 96's control. With Utopia on the field, Yuma turns the tables. Nistro and Dextra identify him as the emissary from the astral world. Nistro summons the powerful Photon Strike Bouncer and, with a clever ploy, negates Utopia's defense, inflicting heavy damage. Yuma survives by a thread, and Tori's words rekindle his spirit. Astral returns to his side. Together, they transfer an overlay unit to Utopia, attack, cancel their own attack, and activate a spell combination that raises Utopia's power to an incredible 10,000 points. Nistro sacrifices himself to protect Dextra, and Yuma wins, earning a second chance for Flip. The encounter remains a secret, but a rivalry has just been born. As Kite continues his hunt, his brother Heart runs away into the streets. Yuma saves him from a truck, and a mysterious power erupts from Heart, protecting them. Heart reveals he can see and communicate with Astral, something no one has ever been able to do. That night, an unknown force draws Heart to the top of a tower, where he relives a memory of Kite. When Heart's power threatens to spiral out of control, Yuma calms him down with a piece of candy. Just then, a mysterious figure named Quentin arrives, claiming to be a friend, and takes Heart away. As he leaves, Heart turns to Yuma and coldly declares his true mission to destroy the astral world. A new player has entered the game, and the stakes have just been raised dramatically. Heart's departure leaves Yuma with a chilling warning. Kite, upon discovering the disappearance, tracks down Yuma. Together they realize a third party has kidnapped Heart. The enemy is revealed, Vetrix, who begins a ritual to drain the boy's power and use it for his revenge against Dr. Faker. Heart sends a telepathic cry to Kite, guiding him to an abandoned museum. Yuma and his friends rush to the location, only to be met by Quattro and Trey. They confirm they have Heart and challenge Yuma and Kite to a tag duel. Heart's freedom is on the line, and a forced alliance between rivals is their only hope. The duel for Heart begins with tension in the air. Yuma and Kite, a reluctant team, face Quattro and Trey's coordinated assault. Kite makes it clear he intends to win alone, creating a barrier between himself and Yuma. Quattro taunts him, revealing he knows Kite is being used by Dr. Faker. Yuma summons Utopia, but Quattro is ready with his number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. Yuma saves himself but uses another card to protect Kite, further angering his partner. Taking advantage of the discord, Quattro projects an image of a suffering Heart, sending Kite into a rage. Blinded by rage, he summons his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and attacks. It's a trap. The move not only negates the attack, but also reduces the dragon's attack points to 0. With Kite's monster powerless, Trey activates the ability of his Chronomally Machu Mech, inflicting 3,000 points of damage to Kite and leaving him on the brink of defeat. The brothers' plan worked perfectly.
Kite, no!
In the midst of the chaos, Yuma sacrifices half of his life points to save Kite, keeping him in the game. As Vetrix continues the ritual, Trey attacks again, but Kite survives. Seeing his partner hesitate, Yuma inspires him to fight as a team. With renewed vigor, Yuma evolves Utopia into Utopia Ray. Quattro responds by summoning his own number monster, number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings, and activates an ability that will destroy all monsters at the end of the next turn. With defeat imminent, Kite breaks down, but sensing the danger, Heart breaks free from Vetrix's control and sends all his energy to his brother.
What happened to Kite?
Revitalized, Kite receives a new card. Yuma sacrifices his own monsters so Kite can use them. With this help, Kite overlays his monsters to summon a new and powerful creature, Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The new dragon negates the abilities of all other monsters and gains overwhelming power. With multiple attacks, it eliminates Trey and then defeats Quattro, securing the victory. The forced alliance has triumphed, but the threat of Vetrix still looms, stronger than ever. Intrigued by Yuma's power, Trey decides to seek him out. Meanwhile, on the last day of the preliminaries, Yuma needs one final heart piece. His search leads him to Shark, who, influenced by a number card, is acting with unusual aggression. To free him, Yuma challenges him, not to win, but to be a target for his rage. At the peak of the tension, his stomach rumbles, breaking the spell. Shark gives up, and his anger dissipates. Shortly after, Trey visits Yuma's home, and observing the family dynamic, concludes that Yuma's strength comes from his bonds. This reminds him of his own family, consumed by revenge. Convinced that Yuma is an obstacle, he challenges him to a decisive duel. Upon his return, Vetrix notices Trey's new, dark determination, now hungry for the power to crush Yuma. Despite the risks, Yuma accepts Trey's challenge, determined to understand him. At the dueling location, Trey reveals a new power. He can now see astral. The battle begins with Trey using a calculated strategy to inflict direct damage. Yuma, wanting to prove his worth, ignores Astral's advice and is easily blocked. It is then that Trey reveals his true weapon, a dark crest from Vetrix. With it, Trey attacks Yuma's mind, erasing his memories and his feeling the flow philosophy. Yuma becomes fearful, unable to fight. To seal his advantage, Trey immobilizes Astral, making him visible but powerless. With Yuma in a state of shock and Astral neutralized, Trey orders Machumek to attack. Yuma is completely vulnerable, without his memories and without his partner. With Yuma paralyzed by fear, his friends try to encourage him, but Trey traps them, isolating him completely. The words of his friends and a vision of his father finally break the spell. Yuma regains his determination and vows to fight in Astral's memory. Using the lessons he has learned, he summons Utopia and destroys Machumek. Trey is unfazed. He summons a new and terrifying number, number 6, Chronological Atlantis.
Whoa, I'm in big time trouble now.
With 5,000 attack points, the monster attacks, and although Utopia blocks the blow, Atlantis' ability cuts Yuma's life points in half. With only 200 life points remaining, Yuma faces imminent defeat, but his will to fight is stronger than ever. With only 200 life points, Yuma refuses to give up. He summons Utopia Ray and prepares for the final blow, but Trey stops him with a trap. The crest's energy begins to consume Trey, but he ignores it, activating an effect that deals damage to both of them. Yuma survives with a mere 100 life points. Trey activates a final trap from Vetrix, Final Countdown Prophecy. The card not only allows his attack to continue, but reveals its true purpose. On the next turn, both duelists will be defeated, and a portal to another world will open, threatening to destroy everything. Realizing that only a victory can stop the destruction, Yuma is out of options. In an act of sacrifice, Trey transfers the crest's power to Yuma, giving him the chance to bring Astral back. Together again, they unite in the Zexal transformation and, with a shining draw, create the Zexal weapon, Phoenix Bow. With it, Utopia Ray wins the duel, and the portal closes.
Phoenix finish!
Defeated, Trey asks Yuma to save his family. With his last heart piece, Yuma qualifies for the finals, carrying the weight of a new promise.
There's no stopping me now!
After his victory over Trey, Yuma qualifies for the finals. At the celebration gala, tensions rise. Quattro provokes Shark, and Dextra tries to warn Kite about Vetrix. A mysterious man, Quentin, reveals to Yuma that his father is alive in the astral world. The party is interrupted by the dramatic arrival of Vetrix, who crashes through the ceiling and declares he will crush everyone, fixing his eyes on Astral. Meanwhile, the Triad of Terror, a trio of mercenaries, is hired to eliminate Yuma during the finals. The calm before the storm is over. With the threat of Vetrix in the air and mercenaries hired to eliminate him, the morning of the World Duel Carnival Finals arrives. The new phase of the tournament takes place on a giant roller coaster that runs through the city, the Duel Coaster. Duelists compete in individual cars, dueling on shared tracks, and activating spell and trap cards positioned along the course. Yuma realizes he has lost his heart piece, which functions as the ignition key for his car. While the other finalists depart, he is left behind. Thanks to the help of his family and friends, the piece arrives just in time, and Yuma speeds off to catch up to the others. With Tori accidentally trapped in his car as a co-pilot, Yuma finally catches up to the pack, but it is then that the Triad of Terror ambushes him. Before the duel even begins, they use a track trap to deal direct damage to Yuma. They then initiate a 3-on-1 duel, surrounding Yuma and leaving him at an overwhelming disadvantage, as Vetrix watches from afar, interested in testing his target's true strength. The trio of duelists uses their magnet monsters, which grow stronger each time one is destroyed. When defeat seems certain, a car appears at high speed. It's Anna Kaboom, who crashes the duel to help Yuma. Soon after, Nistro also joins the fray, evening the odds in a 3-on-3 duel. Together, the three overlay their level 4 monsters to summon One-Eyed Skill Gainer. With a combination of abilities, they gain enough power to turn the tide. After defeating 2 of the opponents, the last member of the triad, Wolfsbane, attempts a desperate direct attack. Anna sacrifices herself, using a monster to block the hit and save Yuma, who finishes the duel with a decisive attack. The victory is barely celebrated before the competitors plunge into the darkness of the Dragon's Den, an underground labyrinth filled with traps. While Quattro lures Shark into an ambush, Kite tracks Vectrix, realizing that someone is manipulating his path. The culprit is Dextra. Determined to protect Kite, she corners him in the jungle field, confident that her deck will give her the advantage to eliminate him. Vectrix, amused by the situation, accepts the challenge. An old promise is about to be tested on the battlefield. In the jungle field, Dextra's strategy seems flawless. The field inflicts damage to anyone who doesn't summon a monster each turn, and she creates a locking combo that traps Vectrix. A flashback reveals her motivation, a promise to protect Kite at all costs. Yuma arrives just in time to witness what looked like a certain victory turn into a nightmare. Vectrix finds an opening and summons number 8, Heraldic King, Genome Heritage.
Welcome to the beginning of the end!
With the numbers ability, he steals the powers of Dextra's monster, turning her own locking combo against her. Dextra tries to force a draw, but Vectrix neutralizes her attempt. Defeated, she has her memories of Kite stolen by him. Witnessing this cruelty, Yuma swears that Vectrix will pay for what he's done. Vengeance has just found a new target. Dextra's fall ignites a fire in Quentin Arclight, who confronts Kite. Quentin summons number 9, Dyson Sphere, a colossal entity that leaves Kite without a target. Yuma arrives and informs Kite of Dextra's defeat, but he remains focused. Quentin interrupts the duel to reveal the source of his hatred, Dr. Faker. In a flashback, he recounts Faker's betrayal, who used his father, Byron Arclight, and Yuma's father as sacrifices to open a portal, transforming Byron into the disfigured Vectrix. Despite the revelation, Kite can only think of Heart and his revenge. He attacks, and Quentin reveals number 9's true form, which is immune to attacks as long as it has overlay units. A seemingly invincible monster has just entered the game.
And no one ever will!
Quentin, Kite's former mentor, attacks him directly, reducing his life points to 200. Yuma stands up for Kite, and inspired, Kite tries a new tactic, but the monster simply replenishes its overlay units. Cornered, Kite draws the card that changes everything, Message in a Bottle, a gift from his father. With it, he revives 3 monsters and performs a 3-material Exis summon to bring forth Neo Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon. The new monster negates Dyson Sphere's abilities, absorbs its units, and gains enough power to win the duel. Defeated, Quentin, now Christopher again, acknowledges Kite's strength and entrusts him with the task of confronting Faker and Vectrix. Watching it all, Yuma and Astral commit to stopping both villains. The semifinals are approaching, and an inevitable confrontation is about to take place. With Kite's victory, the focus shifts to the decisive duel between Shark and Quattro in the magma field. Shark deals the first damage, but Quattro responds with number 15. Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. The duel is suddenly taken off the air by Vectrix, who wishes to manipulate the events. Shark summons his own number, the same one Trey gave him. It is then that Vectrix reveals his plan. He orchestrated the duel to let Shark's rage consume him. Furious at being used, Quattro summons a new and terrifying monster, number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings, and attacks Shark 8 consecutive times. To finish, he places a string counter on Shark's monster, scheduling its destruction for the next turn. Shark is down, on the verge of elimination, and Vectrix is one step closer to his revenge. Down and struggling against the influence of number 32, Shark banishes his own monster, escaping Quattro's trap. Vectrix criticizes him, and Quattro rebels, declaring he will win to bring his true father back. He summons his ace, number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo, a monster with an automatic win condition. With Quattro's victory almost certain, Vectrix dismisses him and urges Shark to embrace his rage. Torn, Shark gives in. He performs a Chaos Exis evolution, creating Chaos number 32, Shark Drake Vice. The new monster weakens Quattro's and secures the victory. After the duel, Quattro confesses that Vetrix forced him to harm Shark's sister, but that he was the one who saved her from the fire. He begs for Shark's help, but Shark ignores him, focused only on his own revenge against Vetrix. The semifinals are set, and everyone's path collides at a single point: destruction. With a spot in the semifinals secured, Yuma returns home, only to have his deck stolen. Tracking it to the impenetrable Heartland City, he and his friends infiltrate the city. Meanwhile, Shark is ambushed by Vetrix, who reveals that the Seed of Darkness will force him to destroy Yuma. Inside a recycling center, Yuma finds the chamber where Heart is being held. The boy's consciousness begs him to save Kite, who is growing weaker. Suddenly, Dr. Faker appears on a monitor. He confesses his alliance with the Barian world to destroy the astral world, admitting he betrayed Yuma's father and used his own sons as pawns. With a command, he drops them into a trash compactor, where Yuma miraculously recovers his deck. Outside, the semifinals are announced: Vetrix versus Kite, and Yuma versus Shark. Fate has sealed a confrontation between friends, and only one can emerge victorious. The semifinal begins: Yuma versus Shark. From the start, Shark seems distant, making uncharacteristic mistakes. Vetrix invades his mind, twisting his memories and convincing him that Yuma is responsible for his sister's tragedy. Consumed by a fabricated fury, Shark launches a relentless assault. He summons Double Shark and with a series of combos, destroys Yuma's monsters, turning the tables. Despite Yuma's efforts, Shark's aggression overwhelms him. Determined to get his revenge, he overlays his monsters and summons number 32, Shark Drake, ready to annihilate the friend he now sees as his greatest enemy. Their friendship is about to be tested by fire. With Shark Drake on the field, Shark's rage is uncontrollable. He attacks repeatedly, but Yuma survives with a defensive maneuver. Despite Yuma's pleas, Shark, under Vetrix's control, evolves his monster into Chaos number 32, Shark Drake Vice, leaving Yuma on the brink of defeat. On his final turn, Yuma summons Utopia. He cancels his own attack to activate a trap and take control of Shark Drake Vice. With this, Yuma absorbs the Dark Number, freeing Shark's mind but becoming possessed himself. Now free, Shark faces a choice: use a trap card from Vetrix to win and destroy Yuma, or save him. He chooses friendship, activating a spell that banishes his own monster but costs him the duel. Shark loses but saves his friend, asking him to defeat Vetrix, a sacrifice that changes the course of the war. With Yuma in the finals, the second semifinal begins: Kite versus Vetrix. Weakened, Kite wastes no time and summons his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Vetrix reveals his past with Dr. Faker and plays his cruelest card. He takes on Heart's appearance, revealing that he has absorbed the boy's consciousness.
This is all your fault, big brother.
Now, any damage Vetrix takes will also be felt by the real Heart. Kite is in an impossible position. To make matters worse, Vetrix summons his own number, Heraldic King Genome Heritage, which steals the powers of and destroys Kite's monster. Now, he must face an enemy using his own brother as a shield. The battle has become a test of cruelty, and only one can survive. The duel reaches a critical point. Vetrix uses Heart as a shield, forcing Kite's hand. Meanwhile, Yuma locates Heart and dives into his consciousness, destroying Vetrix's dark avatar and severing the psychic link. Freed from worry, Kite unleashes his full fury, summoning the mighty Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. However, Vetrix survives and reveals his true plan. He has harvested the rage of all his opponents, and Kite's is the final catalyst. He summons his ultimate monster, number 69, Heraldry Crest. The creature absorbs the abilities of Neo Galaxy Eyes. In a final act, Heart's spirit tries to protect his brother, but the blow is too powerful. Kite is defeated, and Vetrix absorbs his soul and his numbers. The fall of the Number Hunter has paved the way for the final confrontation. With Kite's fall, Dr. Faker orders the final to proceed. Motivated, Yuma enters the arena for the decisive duel against Vetrix. The battle takes place on the Sphere Field, an arena that allows number monsters to be summoned directly from the hand. Before the duel, Vetrix tries to break Yuma's spirit, claiming his own father manipulated him. Ignoring the taunts, Yuma begins the duel. Vetrix responds overwhelmingly, summoning a trio of number monsters, but Yuma retaliates in kind, summoning 3 numbers of his own: number 34, Terror Bite, number 17, Leviathan Dragon, and his ace, number 39, Utopia. The stage is set for an epic showdown, with both duelists commanding an army of legendary monsters. The war for the fate of the world begins now.
The real battle begins right now.
Let's get the party started.
The duel of titans erupts. Yuma eliminates Vectrix's 3 monsters, but he revives and overlays them to summon his trump card, the monstrous number 69, Heraldry Crest. Upon summoning it, Vectrix reveals his disfigured face, a manifestation of his vengeance. In response, Yuma and Astral merge into Zexal and evolve Utopia into Utopia Ray. When Vectrix tries to steal Utopia Ray's abilities, Yuma performs a shining draw, pulling Zexal weapon Lightning Blade, which protects his field. A fierce exchange follows. Vectrix attacks, but Yuma negates the damage. The turn ends with Yuma re-equipping his monster, defiant against Vectrix's ultimate power. The battle is far from over. In the final duel, Yuma's Zexal form summons Utopia Ray, but Vectrix steals its powers, leaving Yuma with only 50 life points. On his turn, Yuma draws Zexal weapon Tornado Bringer, but a trap from Vectrix returns it to his hand, sealing his defeat. However, this was all part of the plan. Yuma summons 2 other Zexal weapons. Vectrix, confident, absorbs their abilities, but it was a bait. Yuma overlays the monsters to summon Zexal weapon Leo Arms, which grants Utopia Ray immense power. Vectrix attempts one last play, but Leo Arms negates it and cuts his monster's attack in half. With the path cleared, Utopia Ray wins, and Yuma becomes the champion. The celebration is cut short. The Sphere Field, a trap set by Dr. Faker, begins to drain Vectrix's numbers. In an act of redemption, he releases the souls he captured before sacrificing himself. Yuma and Astral are transported to another dimension, where Faker reveals his true goal, to destroy the astral world. Confronted by Dr. Faker, Yuma discovers the Sphere Field is a cannon designed to annihilate the astral world, with Heart as its trigger. The tournament was a sham to gather the energy of the number cards. Outside, Heartland Tower crumbles. Kite, guided by a connection to his brother, joins Shark and Tori to rescue Yuma. In the cannon's chamber, Dr. Faker unleashes an army of robots, but Orbital 7 sacrifices itself, overloading the system and momentarily freeing Heart. The sphere's energy weakens, and Astral gives Yuma 2 final cards before being captured. Freed, Yuma reunites with Kite and Shark. Dr. Faker reveals his system has a backup power source. With no other choice, the 3 heroes unite for a decisive duel to save 2 worlds.
There's no looking back. Ah!
The duel begins. Yuma, Kite, and Shark against Dr. Faker's 12,000 life points. He summons his number, Heart Earth, a creature immune to card effects. The monster's ability absorbs the power of any monster that attacks it and reflects half the damage back. Yuma and Shark's attacks fail, weakening the trio. Kite takes control. He orchestrates a series of bait attacks to exhaust Heart Earth's defenses, and attacks directly with his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The explosion seems to destroy Dr. Faker. However, from the ashes, he re-emerges unscathed, alongside a new and monstrous evolution of his creature. Hope turns to despair. Despite the combined assault, Dr. Faker survives and reveals his monster's true form. Number 92, Heart Earth Dragon. The new dragon cannot be destroyed and redirects any damage to its opponents. The trio is left with only 100 life points. Yuma manages to summon Utopia Ray, and Shark does the same with Shark Drake Vice. This activates one of Shark's trap cards, allowing him to summon 2 monsters from his deck. Kite uses these monsters and his own Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to summon Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The new monster negates Heart Earth Dragon's abilities and defeats it. Cornered, Dr. Faker reveals he made a pact with the Barrian world to save Heart. At that moment, a Barrian force possesses his body, declaring the duel isn't over yet. The true threat has just revealed itself. The Barrian entity controlling Dr. Faker continues the duel, reviving Heart Earth Dragon with 8,000 attack points. Kite attempts one last attack but collapses from exhaustion. Seeing his brother in danger, Heart unleashes a wave of energy that creates an opening for Yuma and Astral to merge into Zexal. With a shining draw, Yuma summons Zexal weapon Ultimate Shield and brings back Utopia Ray, Shark Drake Vice, and Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon.
3 banished monsters are now back on our field.
The Sphere Field Cannon reaches maximum charge. Yuma equips Utopia Ray with Ultimate Shield, raising its attack to 9,800 points. He attacks, but the Barrian forces a final battle that would reflect lethal damage back at Yuma. At the last second, Ultimate Shield not only negates the damage, but adds it to Utopia Ray's attack. With one overwhelming blow, Yuma wins. The the Barian entity is expelled, and Vetrix appears to forgive Dr. Faker before disappearing. With the crisis averted, Yuma uses his champion's wish to challenge Kite to a final duel. The long-awaited duel between Yuma and Kite begins. Kite, questioning his purpose, quickly summons his Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. Yuma responds with Utopia and, with a card combination, destroys Kite's dragon. Surprisingly, Kite forfeits, confessing he no longer sees a point in fighting. Yuma and Astral confront him, explaining that the true purpose of dueling is to build bonds. They encourage him to fight for the future and for the connection they share. Their words resonate with him. With a new understanding, Kite agrees to continue the battle, not out of obligation, but for the sake of pure competition and friendship. The real fight begins now. Kite resumes the duel with full force. He summons Starliege Paladynamo, which drops Utopia's attack points to 0 and destroys it, leaving Yuma in a critical situation. Yuma responds by summoning Heroic Champion Excalibur, which doubles its power to 4,000 and destroys Kite's monster. The comeback is short-lived. Kite revives his Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon and destroys Excalibur. Yuma brings back Utopia and evolves it into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray. The attack is blocked, and Kite summons his ultimate monster, Neo Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon. He attacks, but Yuma forces a mutual destruction. In a mirrored move, both duelists revive all their Exis monsters. With the field full, Kite's dragons launch a final attack, wiping out Yuma's life points and winning the duel. A new respect is born between the rivals, but in the skies, a mysterious presence watches. Drawn by the power Yuma has demonstrated, the peace will not last long. Yuma's victory catches the attention of the Barian world. The leader, Dumon, frustrated, sends the warrior Girog to Earth to capture Yuma's numbers. Meanwhile, Yuma's life has returned to normal, but Shark's sister Rio has a dark vision. A darkness is coming. The threat materializes when Fender attacks Yuma's friends. To protect Astral, Yuma leaves the Emperor's key with Tori and goes to confront him alone. The Barian quickly summons his number 106, Giant Hand, and inflicts direct damage. Fender's Chaos Exis monster can destroy a number. Afterward, Fender activates his monster's ability, leaving Yuma with low life points. He uses it to evolve his monster into Chaos number 106, Giant Red Hand, which drains Utopia's power, leaving it weakened. A new form of power has just entered the game, and Yuma is unprepared. Fender's Chaos Exis monster can destroy a number. It attacks, and Utopia is destroyed. Afterward, Fender activates his monster's ability, leaving Yuma with low life points. Far away, Astral, sensing the danger, convinces Tori to take him to Yuma. At the same time, Kite and Shark intercept and defeat the biker gang Girog had summoned. At the most critical moment, Tori arrives with the Emperor's key, and Astral materializes beside Yuma. Yuma tries to push him away, but Astral declares they will fight together. They bring Utopia back, but Fender traps it with a card that will prevent it from attacking and cause Yuma's defeat at the end of the turn. Yuma and Astral perform a Chaos Exis evolution, transforming Utopia into Utopia Ray, but Fender activates a trap that increases his monster's power. In response, Yuma uses the spell card Numbers Impact, which mirrors the attack points of Fender's monster. Utopia Ray then attacks and wins the duel. Girog vanishes. The trio is reunited, and Yuma, now with Astral by his side, declares that they are ready to face the threat of the Barian world together. A new hyperactive student, Ray Shadows, declares himself Yuma's #1 fan. When professional duelist Devin Knox visits the school, Ray tries to arrange a duel, but Devin, under Barian control, attacks Ray to force a confrontation. In the duel, Yuma summons number 34, Terabyte. Devin responds with his Coach King Giant Rainer, forcing a game of chance that nearly defeats Yuma. Devin reveals his Barian power and evolves his monster into Chaos Exis Coach Lord Giant Rainer, a Chaos Exis monster. He destroys Terabyte, but Yuma survives by a hair's breadth. On his final turn, he summons Utopia Ray and wins the duel. Devin returns to normal, and as thanks, Yuma invites Ray to join his group. Little does he know, his new friend is hiding a secret that could change everything. Following a recent defeat, the Barians send Ali To, an impulsive duelist, to Earth. He is quickly sidetracked when he falls for Tori. Trying trying to win her over with clumsy advances, which are always interrupted by Yuma. Following Gira's advice, Alito challenges Yuma to a duel, believing a victory will impress Tori. During the confrontation, Alito finally realizes that Yuma is his true target. He summons his powerful battle-in boxer Lead Yoke and dominates the duel. With defeat imminent, Yuma stakes it all on a risky trap card that, against all odds, works and secures him the victory. Alito, rather than being dejected, is thrilled by Yuma's strength and declares him his new rival. A new friendship forged in battle is born, but Alito's intentions are far more sinister. An argument among Yuma's friends over who should be the head cheerleader divides the group. Seeing his chance, Girag suggests the Friendship Games, a series of duels to reconcile everyone, advising Yuma to lose the final match on purpose. The games begin, and the group's friendship is restored. In the finals, Yuma prepares to throw the match, but Girag, clever as always, had already given the rank-up Magic Barion's Force card to Tori and Kat. If they win, they will fall under Barion control. The game goes on as usual until the girls play the card and transform into agents of evil. To save them, Yuma abandons the plan and with Astral's help, summons Utopia to defeat them and break the spell. Their friendship is restored, but the threat of a new, more powerful Barion is about to emerge. Frustrated, the Barion leader Dumon summons his elite warrior Mizar and gives him the Barion Sphere Cubes, artifacts that allow Barions to use their full power on Earth. Meanwhile, Yuma is haunted by a nightmare featuring a new, terrifying dragon. Shaken, he visits the dojo of Master Roku, who has left 2 strategic cards to help him. At the same moment, Ryo has a vision of imminent destruction. The premonition comes true when Mizar appears and traps Yuma within a Barion Sphere field. The duel begins. Yuma, uncharacteristically, plays defensively. Mizar responds by summoning 2 level 8 dragons and overlaying them to bring forth the creature from Yuma's nightmare, number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. A new level of power has just been revealed and Yuma's nightmare has become reality. The appearance of a number over 100 shocks everyone. Mizar attacks, and with the Tachyon Transmigration ability, he negates Utopia's effects and destroys it, leaving Yuma on the brink of defeat. As Mizar prepares for the final blow, Kite arrives, sensing a connection between his own Galaxy Eyes and Mizar's monster. Declaring that there can only be one Galaxy Eyes master, Kite takes over the duel. The battle between the dragons is brutal. Kite summons Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and destroys Mizar's monster, but the defeat is momentary. Mizar reveals his Barion form and activates rank-up Magic Barion's Force, evolving his dragon into an even more powerful form. Chaos number 107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. The released energy destabilizes the sphere field. Before the field collapses, Mizar retreats, vowing to Kite that one day he will be the true master. The showdown has been postponed, but the threat remains. The battle against Mizar leaves Astral weakened and Yuma hospitalized. Shark, noticing his friend's fear, steals the Emperor's key and challenges him to a duel. During the confrontation, Yuma plays defensively. Terrified, Shark attacks him relentlessly, mocking his cowardice. Pushed to the limit, Yuma finally has an epiphany. His fear of losing has been preventing him from fighting to win. His renewed determination causes Astral to reappear. Together, they survive Shark's final attack. On their turn, they summon Heroic Champion, Excalibur, and double its power to 8,000 attack, defeating Shark. After the duel, Astral reveals that the challenge was a calculated attempt by Shark to help his friend. With his courage restored, Yuma is ready to face the Barions once more, but a new betrayal is about to unfold. Defying Mizar's orders, Alito decides to face Yuma in an honorable duel. Girag, however, sets a trap, surrounding Yuma and Rei with mind-controlled duelists. At the critical moment, Shark, Ryo, and Tori arrive, but the situation changes when Alito himself appears, stepping in front of Yuma and taking an attack to protect him. He reveals himself as a Barion, but despises Girag's underhanded tactics. With a single card, he scatters the army and issues his true challenge, a one-on-one duel with his numbers and his life on the line. Yuma accepts, and they are trapped within a Barion Sphere field. The duel begins with Alito summoning his ace, number 85, Battle-in Boxer Lead Yoke. Yuma counters with number 39, Utopia. Alito gains the upper hand, dealing significant damage. Yuma manages to revive Utopia and launch a devastating counterattack. As the blow connects, Astral feels his energy being drained by the hostile field. The battle intensifies. Alito summons number 105, Battle-in Boxer Star Cestus, and attacks Utopia risk-free, redirecting the damage to Yuma. Inspired, Yuma and Astral merge into Zexal and evolve Utopia into Chaos number 39. Utopia Ray. They destroy Star Cestus, but Alito revives it. Seeing his opponent's strength, Alito unleashes his Baryon form and uses Baryon's force to evolve his monster into its ultimate form. Chaos number 105. Battling Boxer Comet Cestus. Its initial ability is thwarted, but the attack is powerful. Zexal performs a shining draw, obtaining Zexal Weapon Eagle Claw. The final attack triggers a chain of counter traps. Just when Alito seems to have the victory, Zexal uses one of Alito's own traps against him to win. Defeated, Alito begins to fade away, but Astral is unable to absorb his number. Moments later, Girog finds him gravely injured. Before collapsing, Alito whispers a name, Ray. The betrayal came from where it was least expected. Alito's accusation leaves Girog furious. Ignoring orders, he swears revenge on Ray and challenges him to a duel. Yuma, refusing to believe his friend is guilty, decides to fight in his place, but Ray insists on joining him. They face Girog, who activates a Baryon Sphere field. The 2-on-1 duel begins. A weakened Astral warns of the danger. Ray makes a rookie mistake, leaving them vulnerable. Yuma summons Utopia to protect them, but his divided attention leaves him exposed. Girog summons number 106, Giant Hand, and attacks Ray's weak monster. Yuma tries to block, but Giant Hand negates the defense and inflicts damage. The backlash from Ray's play damages both of them. The negative energy of the field intensifies, and Astral, unable to withstand it, begins to disappear, leaving Yuma alone and in a desperate situation. Ray summons a monster that protects him, allowing Yuma to focus on Girog. Yuma attacks, but Giant Hand's ability destroys Utopia. Ray attempts a rescue, but Girog negates it. Yuma creates a temporary stalemate with a spell card, but Girog responds with Baryon's force, evolving his monster into Chaos number 106, Giant Red Hand, which negates all effects on the field. As Girog moves in for the final blow, Ray intercepts him. Girog activates a field spell that guarantees his victory on the next turn. With only one turn left, Ray tries to sacrifice himself, but Girog neutralizes the move. Yuma saves him, sacrificing half of his life points. Ray executes a brilliant counterplay, resurrects Utopia, and passes a mysterious card to Yuma, rank up magic limited Baryon's force. Yuma uses the Baryon card to evolve Utopia into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray V. He defeats Girog. After the battle, Ray reveals his true identity. He is a Baryon, but he works for an interdimensional police force. The new alliance is put to the test. Yuma and Ray investigate Girog's hideout. Meanwhile, inside the Emperor's Key, Astral confronts his dark counterpart, number 96, who offers his power as the only way to win. Astral refuses. Suddenly, the key activates, pulling Astral into a mysterious dimension where a warrior challenges him to a test. Yuma is dragged along with him. The duel begins under adverse conditions. The warrior summons Unformed Void on a field that penalizes duelists without Exis monsters. Yuma and Astral summon Volcasaurus and Atlantis, but the enemy monster absorbs their power, becoming unbeatable. Number 96 reappears, tempting Astral. Fearing for Yuma's safety, Astral makes a desperate choice. He unleashes number 96 in exchange for power. Under its guidance, Yuma summons number 96 Dark Mist, which drains the enemy's strength and wins the duel. Astral's memories return, revealing the ultimate prize, the Numeron Code, the card that created the universe. Back in reality, number 96 is free and vanishes. Astral is left with a disturbing question. Will he truly need the power of darkness to complete his mission? As a festival livens up Yuma's school, Anna Kaboom returns, determined to duel her former mentor, Brooke Walker, who is planning to retire. Anna forces Yuma to be her partner in a tournament. Ray warns Yuma of Baryon activity, and the warning proves true when a dark force takes control of Brooke moments before the final match. The duel begins with a clear lack of synergy between Yuma and Anna. The professionals, Brooke and Mayday, fight in perfect harmony, summoning their signature monsters and putting the pair on the defensive. Anna manages to deal some damage, but the Walkers' teamwork is superior. They combine their monsters to summon the immense Sky Palace Gangari Day, which destroys Anna's monster and leaves her with few life points. The flying fortress then turns to Yuma, preparing an attack that seems impossible to stop. At the last second, Yuma survives Gangaride's attack with an unexpected tactic. The lack of sync between him and Anna continues, while the walkers fight with unshakable teamwork. The Baryon influence over Brooke intensifies. She uses Baryon's force to evolve her monster, summoning the fearsome Chaos X's Sky Palace Babylon.
Chaos Overlay Unit, Babylon can attack twice in one turn.
With double the power, it destroys Anna's monster. As the creature prepares for the final blow, Anna sacrifices herself, reducing her life points to 0 to negate the attack and allow Yuma to draw a new card. Under pressure, Yuma makes a drastic decision. He activates the Baryon card he got from Ray, rank up Magic Limited Baryon's force, and evolves Utopia into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray V. With its new ability, he destroys Sky Palace Babylon and wins the duel. Brooke returns to normal, but Astral expresses his concern. Using an enemy's power could have terrible consequences. Ray's Shadow sends Yuma a warning before being captured by Vector, the most dangerous Baryon of all. He gives Yuma a set of Baryon cards, making him promise to keep it an absolute secret, even from Astral. Vector appears, traps Yuma's friends, and challenges him, revealing he was the one who controlled Dr. Faker. He summons number 66. And seals Yuma's most powerful card. Vector floods the field with high attack monsters and destroys Utopia, leaving Yuma in a critical situation. Guided by a vision of Ray, Yuma uses the Baryon cards he received. He summons V Salamander, which revives and equips to Utopia. Using Baryon's force, he evolves his monster into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray V. The combined abilities allow him to destroy all of Vector's monsters and win the duel, but the victory is hollow. Vector captures Ray and disappears, leaving behind only the number 66 card as a sinister clue. Determined to rescue Ray, Yuma discovers that the card left by Vector activates an airship hidden within his Emperor's Key. Astral deciphers the coordinates to Baryon World. Yuma, Kite, Shark, and Rio, followed by Tori and their friends, board the ship. The journey is cut short when they are ambushed and dragged into Sargasso, the different dimension battlefield, a desolate dimension where Vector, Dumont, and Mizar await them. Vector reveals Ray's lifeless body, declaring him dead. 3 duels begin simultaneously: Yuma versus Vector, Shark versus Dumont, and Kite versus Mizar. As soon as they summon their X's monsters, they are hit with damage. Vector reveals Sargasso's effect. Any duelist who summons an X's monster takes damage, a trap that affects everyone except the Baryons. The duelists begin losing life points each turn. Vector, however, negates the effect on himself. He summons number 104, Masquerade, and deals additional damage to Yuma. Consumed by rage, Yuma summons Utopia Ray V, taking more damage, and launches an attack that seems to destroy Vector. Ray appears unharmed, only to transform and reveal his true identity. He is, and always has been, the real Vector.
I'm Vector, and I'm your little friend Ray, too.
The friendship, the trust, it was all a charade to lead Yuma to this exact moment of despair. With Yuma's attack, Vector activates his final trap, Vain Betrayer, which not only negates the attack, but banishes all of Yuma's V cards, decimating his deck. With his plan executed to perfection, Vector revels in his victory, blaming Yuma for leading his friends to their annihilation. Paralyzed by Vector's betrayal, Yuma is targeted by a torrent of psychological attacks. Astral feels a dark stain growing within him. In the parallel duels, Shark and Kite unleash their Chaos X's evolutions. Meanwhile, a black hole in Sargasso threatens to swallow the airship with Tori and the others. With determination, they steer the ship clear, and their courage reignites Yuma's spirit. Inspired, he apologizes to Astral, and the two prepare for the Zexal morph. At the moment of their fusion, Vector launches his final attack, exploiting the doubt in Astral's heart. He convinces him that Yuma's betrayal has corrupted him. The energy distorts, and instead of the Zexal they knew, a dark, corrupted figure emerges, its red eyes glowing with a new, sinister consciousness. The hero has become the monster. Trapped in his own mind, Yuma confronts Dark Zexal. Fueled by rage, this new being duels recklessly and self-destructively. Yuma realizes the only way to stop it is to end his own turn, taking damage but avoiding annihilation. Vector seizes the opportunity to summon his Chaos monster, Chaos number 104, Umbral Horror Masquerade, and corners Yuma. With only one card left to draw, Yuma stakes his faith on the card he received from Ray. Within his consciousness, he reaches Astral, reaffirming their bond and breaking the darkness's hold. The card transforms into rank-up magic Numeron Force. Together, they perform the true Zexal morph, evolving Utopia into Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray Victory. With a single attack, they obliterate Vector's monster and win the duel. As the dimension collapses, Vector escapes, screaming that the stain of betrayal in Astral's heart will never disappear. As Yuma and Astral recover, a defeated Vector seeks even greater power. In the depths of the Barian Sea, he makes a pact with the ancient deity, Dawn 1000, and receives a new mission. To find 7 legendary Mytherian numbers on Earth, a race against time begins. Yuma's team travels to the first ruins, where they encounter a stranger named Nash, who bears a striking resemblance to Shark. Inside the temple, a trap separates the group. Yuma finds the number's guardian, Mach, who reveals he has Shark and Nash as prisoners. He challenges Yuma to a duel with a riddle. To win, he must find victory through surrender. Ignoring the warning, Yuma begins the duel, determined to fight with all his might to save his friends, unaware that surrender may be the only key to victory. The guardian Mach forces Yuma into a dilemma. Each of his attacks opens an escape route for Shark and Nash, but it weakens him. Mach summons number 44, Sky Pegasus,
Splendor and might to these lowly creatures!
forcing Yuma to choose between sacrificing Utopia or losing more life points. Trapped, Shark and Nash find a mural depicting the legend of a loyal knight and his horse, Pegasus, who were betrayed by their comrades. The knight refused to fight, and Pegasus put itself in harm's way to protect him. Inspired by the legend, Nash reveals himself to be the Barian, Dumon, and advises Yuma to protect Utopia. Yuma follows his advice, and the decision weakens his life points so much that Mach's card combination backfires on the Guardian himself. With the advantage, Yuma evolves Utopia into Utopia Ray V and wins. Mach, the Pegasus from the legend, entrusts the card to Yuma. Dumon departs, promising they will be enemies next time. Yuma reaffirms his decision to trust others, but Astral remains skeptical, a philosophy that may cost them dearly. The search for the next myth and number leads Yuma to a remote island. Far away, Vector receives a Barian card from Dawn 1000, who has possessed the body of a politician and is sent to the same ruins. Upon arrival, Yuma's team follows symbols left by his father, but falls into an ambush. Vector emerges, revealing he has already captured the number, and traps Yuma over a chasm. Vector forces a dangerous duel, Astral against number 96, who has allied with him. Yuma's life is tied to the outcome. Number 96 summons its avatar, Dark Mist. Astral responds with Utopia and uses the enemy's ability against it, inflicting damage, but Vector's trap is revealed. Each time number 96 takes damage, Yuma's platform crumbles. To win, Astral will have to risk his friend's life with every move. The Barian Emperors gather, surprised by the return of Girag and Alito. Alito, eager for a rematch, volunteers to intercept Yuma at the ruins of Spartan City. Meanwhile, Yuma runs into Nistro, now a masked hero, who tells a local legend about a betrayed warrior whose spirit haunts a submerged Colosseum where the number is located. That night, the lake is drained, revealing the Colosseum. Alito finds the number card and finally manages to grab it. Nistro shows up to try and stop him, but Alito uses the card to take control of Nistro's mind. He forces a tag duel, teaming the controlled Nistro with himself against Yuma and Dextra. The duel begins, and Alito forces Nistro to summon number 54, Lionheart. Its ability is devastating. It cannot be destroyed, and any damage its controller takes is also inflicted on their opponent. Alito's strategy is cruel, to use Nistro as a disposable weapon to defeat Yuma. The duel intensifies. Dextra intervenes, reducing the damage to Yuma, but Nistro takes the full blow. Lionheart revives him with minimal life points. Alito forces Nistro to attack again, defeating Dextra, who leaves her monster for Yuma. Yuma responds by summoning heroic champion, Excalibur. With a brilliant counterplay, he negates the effect of Nistro's spell card and weakens Lionheart. When Alito tries to retake control, Yuma activates a final trap that destroys Alito's monster and reflects massive damage back at him, knocking him out. Defeated, Alito has a flash of a past memory before retreating. Nistro awakens, free. Yuma wonders what caused his former rival to change so drastically. Connecting the legends, Astral reaches a shocking conclusion. The Mytherian numbers tell the stories of the Barian Emperor's past life lives as humans. This revelation deepens the mystery. In the Barian world, the possibility of a link between the legends and their own pasts begins to unsettle the emperors. The team's airship crashes near the next ruins. Yuma, Shark, and Kite scale the mountain and find a temple guarded by Jinlon, who reveals he is the protector of the local number. He notes that Kite's spirit reminds him of Mizar, another dragon duelist from the legend. Sensing a fated connection, Kite steps forward to duel Jinlon. The stakes: the number versus Kite's own Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Jinlon summons number 46, Dragluon, and establishes a formidable defense, negating Galaxy Eyes' abilities. But Jinlon reveals this was just a test, and the real trap is about to be sprung. Facing a seemingly inescapable trap, Kite finds himself cornered. Through a series of spell cards, he sacrifices his own life points to weaken Jinlon's monster until his own Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon becomes superior. He attacks and barely survives with only 200 life points remaining. Dragluon returns to the field and steals Kite's Galaxy Eyes. Jinlon attacks with the stolen dragon, but Kite's trap card negates the attack. On his turn, Kite uses a spell to overlay his monsters with the Galaxy Eyes on Jinlon's field, summoning Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Although Dragluon's ability negates its effects, Kite increases his dragon's power and wins the duel. Jinlon reveals that the duel was a test and tells the legend of Mizar, who betrayed his dragon. The real Mizar appears, furious. The temple collapses, and Jinlon reveals his true identity. He is Dragluon, the dragon from the legend. He gives the card to Kite, who declares his new mission: to destroy the Barian world. With Gira's ruse exposed, the team sets off for the location of the last two numbers. Rio is haunted by nightmares. Over the ocean, the airship loses power, and a mysterious voice calls out to Rio, who enters a trance. A giant whirlpool swallows the ship. Yuma and Astral awaken in an underwater labyrinth. Shark is also there but gets separated. He finds Rio possessed by a guardian named Abyss, who challenges him to a duel. During the battle, Abyss summons his Gorgonic guardian, and the monster's power triggers a vision in Shark. He sees himself as an emperor in a past life, with Rio as his sister. As their kingdom is attacked by Vector, Abyss continues to dominate the duel. Meanwhile, Dumon finds the damaged airship, locates Yuma and Astral and intercepts them, determined to stop them. While Yuma tries to reason with Dumon, Shark is trapped in a mental duel, reliving memories of a past life as a reluctant king. He turns the tables, but Abyss summons his own number monster, number 73, Abyss Splash.
This must be the number we're looking for.
From a distance, Yuma and Astral see the energy from the duel. Dumon also notices and departs. Shark's vision reaches its climax when his past life sister sacrifices herself. Observing the scene, Astral finally understands the truth. Shark and Rio are the missing Barians, Nash and Marin. In the present, Abyss releases Rio, who is saved by Yuma. Before fainting, she gives a card to Shark. With it, he summons number 94, Crystal Zero.
Now Crystal Zero has 4,300 attack points!
Wins the duel and recovers his memories and the number card. Far away, Don 1000 reveals to Vector that he knows about his past with Nash and Marin and orders him to find number 96. The final piece is about to enter the game. Don 1000's order is urgent. Number 96, corrupted by chaos, launches a massive attack that shakes all three worlds. He traps Yuma, Astral, Kite, Tori, and Shark, challenging them to a duel for the destruction of everything. Number 96 summons Chaos. Number 96. Yuma responds with Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray Victory, but number 96 activates the Chaos field and steals number 69, Heraldry Crest from Yuma's deck. He evolves the stolen monster into Chaos number 69, Heraldry Crest of Horror, and copies Utopia Ray's power. Yuma survives by a thread, but the threat grows. Number 96 uses the Chaos field again to steal number 92, Hard Earth Dragon, and evolves it into its Chaos form, nullifying all of Yuma's defenses and leaving him exposed to the final attack. Astral takes control. Under pressure, he chooses to summon number 39, Utopia, a symbol of their journey. The gesture reawakens Yuma. Together, they merge into Zexal and perform a shining draw. In an overwhelming sequence, Zexal frees and strengthens Utopia Ray, allowing it to attack all of number 96's monsters. The battle culminates in the mutual destruction of each side's strongest monster, but Zexal reveals his final plan: to revive the original Utopia and attack directly directly for the win. Despite his defeat, number 96 attempts one last attack on Yuma. To protect him, Astral throws himself in front, absorbing number 96's dark essence. The sacrifice comes at a cost. Astral, now unstable, says his farewell, entrusting Yuma with the mission to gather the numbers, and vanishes, leaving him alone. Grieving, Yuma isolates himself. In the Baryon world, Dawn Thousand reveals to Vector that he is the source of number 96's power and his plan to merge the worlds to destroy the astral world. He delivers 4 new number cards to Vector. Vector resurrects Mr. Heartland, who sends out a team to spread chaos on Earth using fake numbers that corrupt anyone who touches them. Flip becomes the first victim. Mr. Heartland uses Yuma's friends as bait, forcing him to go to the Heartland Memorial Hall. There, his agent, Arizor, offers a deal: the numbers in exchange for his friend's memories and the forgetting of Astral. Yuma refuses, declaring that every memory is precious. Just as he prepares to fight alone, Trey arrives to help him. Together, they accept the challenge. Mr. Heartland activates a Baryon field, cutting their life points in half from the start. The duel begins with Eraser summoning his ace, number 3, Cicada King,
Spread your
which negates the effects of opposing monsters and absorbs their power. Yuma and Trey's strategies are neutralized, and Cicada King grows stronger. Trey manages to deal significant damage, but the monster survives. Eraser launches a devastating attack. Trey sacrifices himself to protect Yuma and activates a trap that promises lethal damage on the next turn. When hope seems lost, the voices of his friends reach Yuma. He sacrifices Utopia to destroy Eraser's traps and summons a monster to Trey's field. Placing his trust in him, Trey understands and summons number 6, Chronological Atlantis, equipping it with Utopia. In a synchronized sequence, they double Atlantis' power twice and defeat Arizor. His friend's memories are restored, and Yuma entrusts number 6 to Trey, a new friendship forged in battle. As Yuma regains his hope, Vector sends a new agent, the poison specialist Chiron-X, with a new target, Shark. Tormented by conflicting memories, Shark is ambushed at his old home. Chiron-X poisons him and reveals that Rio has been poisoned as well. The only way to get the antidote is to defeat him. As Shark prepares to fight, Quattro arrives to help. The duel begins under Chiron-X's conditions: 8,000 life points for him, 2,000 for the duo. He summons his number 4, Stealth Kragan, and destroys Shark's monster. Quattro retaliates and destroys Kragan. However, upon being destroyed, the monster splits into 2 Kragan spawn, leaving the duo in an even more dangerous position. Chiron-X's trap is an endless cycle of destruction. Chiron-X's strategy is relentless. When his monsters are destroyed, they return in greater numbers. The poison weakens Shark, forcing him to play defensively. Just as he is about to collapse, Quattro confronts him, confessing his guilt for Rio's accident and begging him not to give up. Motivated, Shark summons Abyss Shark. In a coordinated move, Quattro saves Shark's monster and strengthens it by turning his own monster into an overlay unit. With their combined power, Shark doubles his monster's attack twice and obliterates Chiron-X. The victory cures Rio. As Shark and Quattro resume their rivalry, the image of the defeated Baryon awakens a memory in Shark: a car crash. He recognizes a symbol from the vision on his family's crest, leading him to a shocking conclusion. He is a Baryon. His identity is shattered. As Shark grapples with his identity, Yuma faces his own crisis. He refuses to believe that Astral is gone. Kite comes up with a plan to rescue him, use the astrolite from his father's coins to build an interdimensional teleporter. The moment they activate the device, the Baryon mosquito attacks. To protect Yuma, Kite and Quentin challenge him. While Yuma waits, the duo summons Dyson Sphere and Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon. Mosquito reveals his weapon, number 2, Ninja Shadow Mosquito, a monster that turns invisible as soon as it's summoned. The battle for Astral's soul has begun, and the enemy is a shadow that cannot be seen. Ninja Shadow Mosquito proves to be a deadly threat. It poisons Kite, causing him to hallucinate and see Quentin as an enemy. Kite turns against his mentor, forcing Quentin to defend himself. In an act of desperation and trust, Quentin attacks Galaxy Eyes to break the hallucination. It works. Kite's willpower overcomes the poison. With their minds clear, the duo turns on Mosquito. In a spectacular final move, they combine their card effects to create a copy of Galaxy Eyes, transfer all the power to the original, and enable a devastating second attack that exterminates Mosquito. With their victory, the portal to the astral world opens. After saying goodbye to Tori, Yuma leaps into the unknown, determined to bring his friend back. In a desolate crystalline city, Yuma follows his father's rainbow Kuribo. His presence attracts Elephas, the Guardian, who considers him an intruder. Yuma escapes, and in a vision, his father warns him. Elephas plans plans to erase Astral. Meanwhile, in the Barian world, Dumon reveals to Mizar that their visions are memories of their human lives and confronts Reginald Castle, revealing his true identity, Nash. Yuma is rescued by Enna, who explains that the astral world is dying because it purged chaos energy, the same energy Yuma possesses. Yuma uses his power to heal the sick, but Elephas reappears, accusing him of infecting them. Finally, Yuma finds Astral imprisoned. Elephas reveals that Yuma's energy has contaminated Astral, making him a threat. Refusing to accept this, Yuma challenges him to a duel for Astral's freedom. Elephas begins the duel with an unprecedented technique and reveals his ultimate ability, the Shining Draw, which allows him to draw any card he desires.
Tremble before the power of Shining Draw.
Elephas evolves his monster, weakening Utopia. He reveals the dark truth. Yuma's chaos energy is a virus to astral beings, and his father is to blame for orchestrating their meeting. Enraged, Yuma evolves his monster into Utopia Ray Victory, but Elephas begins an overwhelming sequence of rank-ups, successively summoning rank 8, 10, and finally, New Order 12, Etheric Mahus, leaving him with an army of 3 Xyz monsters. Meanwhile, Dumon guides Reginald through a vision of his past as Nash, reliving the war and Vector's betrayal. Nash wins the duel but finds his city in ruins. Back in the present, Elephas orders the final attack against the defenseless Utopia Ray Victory. Rainbow Kuribo's ability activates at the last second, stopping the attack and saving Yuma. Reginald's vision continues, revealing his anguish before confronting Vector. In the Shadow Duel, Nash emerges victorious, but Vector's betrayal and the loss of his people force him to accept his identity as Nash. Back in the astral world, the connection to Earth fails. A desperate Yuma attempts a direct attack, but Elephas blocks it. Out of options, Yuma faces his opponent's final move, the summoning of a power never seen before, a rank 13 X's monster. Facing Elephas's monstrous rank 13, New Order 13, Yuma is cornered. The monster absorbs cards from his deck, growing more powerful with each turn. On the verge of defeat, Yuma uses a trap card to stay in the game. He calls out to Astral and performs a Shining Draw, pulling the rank down magic Numeron Fall spell. He ranks down Utopia into a new form, number 39, Utopia Roots. Elephas scoffs, but it's a trap. The ability of Utopia Roots multiplies its attack based on the difference in ranks and the opponent's overlay units. With the Double or Nothing spell, its attack is boosted to an astronomical level, securing the victory. Defeated, Elephas frees Astral and warns them of Dawn Thousand's resurrection. Meanwhile, in the Barian world, Vector shows Reginald the souls of his people. Torn, Reginald embraces his identity as Nash and, alongside his sister Marin, vows to defeat Yuma. The threat of Dawn Thousand materializes. He and Vector unleash thousands of fake number cards on Earth, corrupting anyone who touches them and initiating the fusion of the worlds. Mr. Heartland appears, and Flip becomes the first victim. Kite challenges him. The villain summons his number 1, Infection Buzzking, and uses one of the fake numbers to injure Kite. Kite fights back, but Heartland corners him again, destroying his Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and leaving him unconscious. Just as Heartland is about to declare victory, a portal of light opens. Yuma and Astral have returned, ready for war. Yuma takes over the duel and a furious Mr. Heartland reveals his Barian form. In the Barian world, Nash reaffirms his authority. Dawn Thousand grants Vector a dark power. On the field, Yuma summons Utopia, but Heartland neutralizes its famous combination. Yuma uses an alternative plan and destroys Infection Buzzking. The monster's defeat triggers a trap that floods the field with Infection Bug tokens, putting Yuma in a dead end. Mr. Heartland tries to prevent Yuma and Astral's fusion, but their bond is stronger. They transform into a new form of Zexal.
Heartland! It's over!
With a Shining Draw, Yuma summons ZS Vanished Sage and uses Kite's Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to banish all the tokens. With the field clear, the dragon attacks directly and wins. Mr. Heartland disintegrates, revealing Dawn Thousand's energy. Shark reveals himself to be Nash, leader of the Barian Emperors, alongside Rio, now Marin. Yuma refuses to accept it. Their friends arrive, starting a war on multiple fronts. Anna and Nelson against Mizar, Roku and Kaze against Garag, and Bronk against Nistro. Quattro Quattro takes on the responsibility of confronting Nash. He deals the first damage, but Nash responds with number 101, Silent Honor Dark, and absorbs Quattro's monster. Unfazed, Quattro evolves his monster into Chaos number 15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter and attacks. Nash survives. He and the other Emperors unleash an overwhelming power, performing a simultaneous Chaos Draw. The Chaos Draw grants each Emperor the Rank Up Magic, the 7th one spell card. Nash uses it to evolve his monster into Chaos number 101, Silent Honor Dark, and absorbs Quattro's monster. Quattro survives and refuses to give up. He summons number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings, and evolves it into its Chaos form, destroying Silent Honor Dark, but Nash revives it, restoring his life points in an endless cycle. As the duel intensifies, the war turns against Yuma's friends. One by one, they are defeated. Witnessing the fall of his allies, Quattro's hope turns to fury. He abandons the idea of saving his friend and embraces the desire to destroy his new enemy. The duel has become a battle of annihilation. Determined to avenge his friends, Quattro makes his final move. He summons number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo, and evolves it into its Chaos form, activating its automatic win condition. However, Nash reveals a trap that negates the victory at the last second. In a final exchange, Nash gains the upper hand and defeats Quattro. At the moment of defeat, Yuma awakens to find that all his friends have been defeated. He blames himself for the loss. The group splits up. Kite leaves, while Quentin and Trey separate to act as decoys, buying Yuma time. Astral sets a new plan: travel to the Barrian world and defeat Don Thousand. To protect Yuma, Quentin and Trey lure Mizar into a 2-on-1 duel. Meanwhile, in the Barrian world, Vector, allied with Don Thousand, forces Alito and Girag to follow his orders. In the duel, the duo summons Dyson Sphere, but Mizar responds with his Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon and destroys it. Trey counterattacks, summoning Chronological Atlantis. Mizar believes he has anticipated the move, but it was a bluff. Trey evolves his monster into Chaos number 6, Chronological Chaos Atlantis, and attacks. Mizar defends his dragon, but this activates Chaos Atlantis' true effect. It equips Tachyon Dragon, stealing Mizar's most powerful monster. Enraged, Mizar draws the 7th one, but the brothers' strategy worked. Since the dragon is not in the graveyard, the card is useless. Trapped, Mizar swears that their trick has only sealed a terrible fate. Quentin and Trey summon Chaos number 9, Chaos Dyson Sphere, and corner Mizar, reducing his life points to 1. Mizar reveals his trap card, Damage Rebound, which saves him and forces his opponents into an impossible choice. The only safe option is to return Tachyon Dragon. With his monster back in the deck, Mizar draws the 7th one again and summons Chaos number 107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. The brothers try to trap him, but Mizar reveals its ultimate power, Time Tyranny, which rewinds time and erases their trap cards from existence. Facing defeat, Quentin reveals their true plan. The duel was a distraction, so that Kite could travel to the moon, where the Numeron code will be revealed. Mizar, relentless, orders the final attack. The brothers are defeated, sacrificing themselves to ensure the mission's success. Shattered by the loss, Yuma is transported to an unknown dimension, where he finds a corrupted and cruel Alito. He captures Tori to force a duel. Astral realizes that Alito is being controlled by Don Thousand, who reveals himself, mocking them for having freed him. Using the power of Chaos number 105, Battle Boxer Comet Cestus, he destroys Utopia and nearly defeats Yuma. Yuma survives and realizes he needs to reach the real Alito. He attempts a massive attack, but Alito neutralizes it. Next, he summons number 80, Rhapsody and Berserk, and banishes Yuma's defenses. Out of options, Yuma and Astral devise a risky plan to summon the number that belonged to Alito before his corruption. The gamble is that confronting him with a relic of his own past is the only key to breaking Don Thousand's hold. Astral's plan depends on Yuma's next draw. Trusting his luck, he draws the exact card needed to summon number 54, Lionheart. The monster's presence awakens memories in Alito, a past life as a heroic gladiator betrayed by a prince. Yuma attacks, and Lionheart's ability makes both players take the damage. Yuma survives by a thread. Alito's mind is freed, but his loyalty as a Barian remains. He continues the duel, evolving his monster into Chaos number 80, Requiem in Berserk. Astral realizes that only by destroying Comet Cestus will Alito see how Don Thousand manipulated him. Yuma equips his monster with the Emperor's armor and attacks. The first blow is a stalemate, but the armor allows for a second attack, which destroys Comet Cestus. Its destruction releases the final memory, the image of Don Thousand rewriting their past. With the truth restored, Alito turns against his master and allies with Yuma. Together they head for the Barian world, but a new betrayal awaits them. Vector's threat becomes a reality. Empowered by Don Thousand, he faces Dumon and Ma Rin. The pair summons number 103, Ragna Zero, and number 102, Star Seraph Sentry. With flawless teamwork, they destroy Dark Mist and inflict damage on Vector. The defeat was part of his plan. Vector uses a trap card to summon an even more sinister creature, number 43, Manipulator of Souls. He reveals his cruel strategy. His Don Thousand's throne restores his life points, but it drains energy directly from Nash. Any damage to Vector hurts their leader. He forces Ma Rin to remember how he defeated them in the past, revealing himself as the one responsible for their kingdom's destruction. The revelation is interrupted by the arrival of Yuma, Astral, and Alito. As the main battle unfolds, Girag intercepts the group. Ma Rin, seeing through the trap, decides to turn the tables, evolving his Ragna Zero into Ragnafinity and preparing a decisive counterattack. Ma Rin's attack goes through, but Vector barely survives. Don Thousand's throne heals him, draining more of Nash's energy. Dumon executes a sacrificial plan. He activates a trap that will absorb all the damage, but which will destroy him at the end of the turn. The cost transfers immense power to Ma Rin's Ragnafinity. In parallel, the fight between Alito and Garad intensifies. Back in the main confrontation, Vector's turn ends. Dumon says his farewells and is absorbed, leaving Ma Rin alone. Consumed by rage, with Ragnafinity now boasting over 6,000 attack, Ma Rin orders the final attack against Manipulator of Souls. The blow lands a direct hit, and the explosion seems to annihilate Vector. Just as Ma Rin believes she has won, Vector reveals he survived by sacrificing Don Thousand's throne. The move allows him to evolve his monster into Chaos number 43, High Manipulator of Chaos. Meanwhile, Alito destroys Girag's monster, breaking Don Thousand's control. Back in the other duel, Vector unleashes the power of his new monster. With an attack power of 18,000, he defeats Ma Rin, absorbing her power and Dumon's. The same trap that had saved Girag turns against Alito, draining his last life points. In his final moments, he entrusts the future to Yuma.
Goodbye, and thanks, Yuma, for everything.
Freed, Girag throws himself in front of a fatal attack from Vector meant for Yuma, sacrificing himself to honor Alito. Strengthened by the powers of 4 emperors, Vector disappears. On the moon, Kite has landed and is confronted by Mizar. The duel for the Numeron Code, the fate of the universe, and the title of Galaxy Eye's master is about to begin. The duel on the moon begins. Kite summons his Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon, but Mizar responds with the 7th one, bringing forth Chaos number 107, Neo Galaxy Eye's Tachyon Dragon. He rewinds time, negating Kite's cards. When he attacks, Kite summons his own Neo Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon. The two colossal dragons clash. Kite loses the first match, and with his vision failing, he has to rely on Orbital 7. Mizar retaliates, banishing Kite's field and reviving his dragon. He attacks, but Kite summons number 46, Dragluon. The dragon shows Mizar his true past as a human warrior manipulated by Don Thousand. Mizar rejects the vision and launches a final direct attack. Kite survives thanks to Orbital 7's shield, but both are damaged. With only 100 life points left, Kite clings to the duel. Mizar attacks relentlessly. On his turn, Kite reveals his trump card. Number 62, Galaxy Eye's Prime Photon Dragon returns to the field, immune to Mizar's time rewind. As their dragons face off one last time, Kite unleashes the Prime Photon Dragon's true power, multiplying its attack points and winning the duel. In the final explosion, the legendary third dragon materializes. Mizar acknowledges Kite's strength. Kite then collapses, asking Yuma to carry on. With Kite's fate uncertain, Yuma turns his focus to the final enemy, Don Thousand. Empowered, Vector awaits Nash. The duel begins with Vector activating Contract with Don Thousand, draining Nash's life points. points. A Chaos draw grants Nash the 7th one, allowing him to evolve his monster into Chaos number 101, Silent Honor Dark. He attacks, but it's part of Vector's plan, who uses the damage to summon Chaos number 65, King Overfiend. Vector takes the offensive to another level, summoning 3 Chaos numbers at once, using the captured power of Nash's friends against him. Yuma and Astral arrive, but Nash refuses their help. Vector then reveals the battlefield is the ruins of his former kingdom. He destroys Nash's monster, but it is revived. In a comeback attempt, Nash manages to capture King Overfiend and increase his monster's power. He attacks, and the impact shatters not only the monster, but also Don Thousand's influence, causing Vector's true forgotten memories to surface. The decisive battle takes place elsewhere. In the Barian world, Nash defeats Vector. As the spirits of his victims drag him into darkness, Don Thousand appears, revealing Vector was merely a pawn and reabsorbs his power. As Vector falls, Yuma tries to save him. In a final moment of clarity, inspired by their friendship when he was Rei, Vector sacrifices himself.
Why did you let go?
With his power restored, Don Thousand reveals his triumph, the fusion of Earth and the Barian world. Mizar appears, giving Yuma the Numeron Dragon card, a gift from Kite. He exposes Don Thousand's betrayal and challenges him. Mizar attempts a suicidal move, but it fails. Don Thousand reveals that by merging the worlds, he has gained the power to rewrite reality itself, including the cards. He declares his intention to annihilate the astral world. Yuma and Nash join Astral to face him. The duel begins, and when Yuma tries to summon Utopia, Don Thousand rewrites the card, demonstrating his total control before the battle has even begun. Don Thousand summons the genuine numbers 1 through 4, the Numeron Gates, whose power doubles with each battle. Astral separates to destroy their power source, the Numeron Network. Alone, Yuma and Nash withstand the devastating attacks. Don Thousand escalates the threat, summoning Chaos number 1, Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya,
Numeron Chaos Gate Shunya!
which banishes all monsters and promises lethal damage on the next turn. Nash responds with Chaos number 101, Silent Honor Dark, but Don Thousand blocks him. Far away, Astral locates the Numeron network, but destroying the card would annihilate Earth. Faced with an impossible choice, Astral decides to sacrifice himself. At the last moment, Elephas, the guardian of the astral world, takes his place and perishes. Back in the duel, Nash activates a powerful trap, destroying the Numeron network. With the network destroyed, Silent Honor Dark's ability revives it. Elephas' sacrifice was part of Don Thousand's plan. He uses the Numeron Chaos ritual to summon Chaos number 1000, Numeronius, a creature with 10,000 attack that destroys and steals the opponent's monsters.
This just keeps getting better.
To fight back, Yuma and Astral merge their forces into Zexal. With a shining draw, Yuma summons Ouroboros Sage and number 101, but the attack fails. Don Thousand annihilates Yuma's field. Out of options, Yuma is about to lose, but Kite's spirit reminds him of number 100, Numeron Dragon. Summoned at the last second, the dragon destroys all of Don Thousand's monsters. However, Numeronius' destruction only paves the way for an even more terrifying form. Chaos Imaginary number 1000, Numeronius Numeronia, with 100,000 attack. The condition is brutal: attack the monster or lose the duel. Facing the impossible, Yuma achieves the ultimate Zexal morph.
Ultimate Zexal morph. Let's go.
He summons Utopia and fuses the powers of his other monsters, preparing for the one attack that will decide the fate of all worlds. Uniting the powers of his rivals, Yuma raises Utopia's attack to 25,500, and with the power of Abyss Splash, quadruples it to 102,000. Don Thousand negates the attack, but Yuma activates Double or Nothing, doubling Utopia's power to 204,000 and allowing for a second attack that annihilates Numeronius Numeronia and defeats Don Thousand. Before vanishing, the Dark Spirit fuses with Nash. Now, with the power of Chaos, Nash declares his intention to destroy the astral world. The three worlds are still on a collision course. Astral suggests that the Numeron code could rewrite the past, but Yuma rejects this, refusing to erase the friendship they have built. The duel begins. Nash summons the monsters of the other emperors, and, in an overwhelming display, gathers all 7 Chaos numbers on his field, setting the stage for the ultimate battle. With the power of the 7 Emperors, Nash summons his most powerful card, Chaos Exis Baryon Hope, with 7,000 attack. The monster's power is immense. It can use the ability of any of the 7 Baryon number monsters that form it. Nash begins a relentless offensive, using each power to corner Yuma. He barely survives. Yuma and Astral realize the truth. Each overlay unit represents an emperor, and Nash refuses to sacrifice them, preferring to pay with his own life. The duel's energy accelerates the collision of the worlds. From the rifts, Kazuma Tsukumo and Vetrix emerge, joining forces to hold back the collision and buy Yuma the time he needs. With renewed hope, Yuma performs a Destiny Shining Draw and evolves his monster. From the ashes rises number 39, Utopia Beyond, which reduces Baryon Hope's attack points to 0. The counterattack is devastating, and Nash's ultimate monster is destroyed. The destruction of Baryon Hope is not the end. Nash activates a trap, protecting himself and summoning Black Ray Lancer. Yuma revives Utopia, and the 2 monsters that once fought side by side now face each other as enemies. Yuma appeals to their friendship, but Nash is unyielding. He attacks, leaving Yuma with only 50 life points. Desperate, he feels he has failed. Tori's voice awakens him. With his determination restored, Yuma and Astral unite in Zexal Morph. A Destiny Draw grants him the weapon he needs. He equips Utopia and goes on the attack. Nash responds by bringing back Baryon Hope. The battle is interrupted by Nash's trap, Tie of Destiny, forcing them both to draw one last card. Yuma draws double or nothing, which would grant him victory, but at the decisive moment, he hesitates. Winning would mean destroying his friend. He activates the card but negates his own attack. Nash's final card is revealed. It would have reflected the damage, but since Yuma's life points remained unchanged, Nash's dropped to 0. He has lost. In his final moments, he acknowledges their friendship, smiles, and entrusts the future to Yuma. The war is over. The fusion of the worlds is undone, and everyone returns. But the joy is cut short. Astral reveals his true purpose. With all 100 number cards, he will use the Numeron code to annihilate the Baryon world. Shocked, Yuma challenges him to one last duel. The terms are absolute. If Astral wins, he will erase all of Yuma's memories of him. On the school courtyard where they first met, the duel begins. Yuma sets up a defense, but Astral shows no mercy. In a single turn, he summons the legendary number 39, Utopia, followed by Ray Victory, Beyond, Ray V, and then brings back the original number 39. Astral's field becomes a nightmare. With 5 different Utopia monsters on the field, their combined attack shatters Yuma's defenses and drastically reduces his life points. The duel for the fate of the Numeron code begins. Astral dominates the field with 5 Utopia monsters, but Yuma, rather than being intimidated, looks on with admiration. He summons Gaga Cowboy and Gaga Samurai and, with a combination of cards, destroys the first 2 Utopia monsters. Next, he uses a spell card to make his samurai copy Utopia Beyond's power and destroy it, inflicting massive damage. Astral barely survives. Yuma reveals he anticipated Astral's strategy, dueling to understand his decision and try to change his mind. Astral attacks with his last Utopia. Yuma launches a suicidal attack, a decoy that drains the power of Astral's monster. With the field clear, he destroys the last Utopia. Defeated, Astral changes tactics, summoning number 39, Utopia Roots, and using Sharks and Kites monsters as overlay units to force Yuma to remember his friends. The attack leaves Yuma with no monsters, forced to confront Astral's question, what has he lost? Under pressure, Yuma finally understands what he lost, the joy of dueling. With this rediscovery, he performs a shining draw and summons number F0, Utopic Future. He not only survives the battle, but also takes control of Astral's monster and attacks directly. Astral responds with his own cosmic draw, evolving his monster into its ultimate form, number 99, Utopic Dragon.
Number 99, Utopic Dragon!
The dragon's ability destroys all other monsters, but Yuma protects Utopic Future. On his final turn, he strengthens his monster with the power of all the numbers in the graveyard. But Astral activates the Door of Destiny, the symbol of their friendship. To win, Yuma must destroy it. With Astral's blessing, he understands that their bond will not disappear. He activates Double or Nothing, doubling Utopic Future's power, and wins. Astral says his goodbyes, using the Numeron code to restore balance before vanishing. Life returns to normal. The Baryon Emperors are human, but the peace is interrupted. Yuma's key glows. His friends, including Kite and his former enemies, gather with a warning. A new evil threatens the astral world. Without hesitation, Yuma and his new team prepare to fight alongside their friend once more. The final journey has only just begun.